Welcome to the Inspired Father podcast, where we celebrate the extraordinary journey of fatherhood. I'm your host, Wesley Rhoads. Join us as we bring heartfelt, empowering stories from fathers all around the world, the joys and challenges to the triumphs and lessons learned. This podcast is a beacon of inspiration for every dad out there. So let's embark on that adventure of fatherhood together and get inspired. Greg Law, 45, Bedbug.
Oh, man, that was my intro.
Welcome to the show.
How many times have you heard that now? Greg Law, 45 Bedbug. Probably about two.
Well, not
times.
that much, actually. It was 44 Bedbug and just recently switched to
That's
45.
Right. Yeah, thanks for paying attention.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
What was that, about a month ago now?
Yeah, October 25th.
There we go. Well, thanks for coming on the show. Pretty stoked about it. So, let's start off with kind of 30 seconds about you, who you are, your little bit of background, and then what you hope that other fathers will take away from our conversations today.
Yeah, Greg Law, and I'm a Christian. I'm a loving husband and father of two. I'm the youngest of four to two amazing parents. And I've got two older brothers and an older sister who are all really, really good to me. And so just I've been the recipient of a lot of good fortune from my family, my friends, and I just have a strong inspiration to be able to take what's been given to me and pay it forward and give back to others.
Right on.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then just a way I like to start off this podcast is, if I asked your wife, what is it about your husband that would be an inspiration to other fathers, what do you think that she would say?
I would say that she would say the way of the coffee.
The way of the coffee.
Yeah, I love this concept.
Okay.
My brother-in-law, her brother, I dropped the in-law years ago. He's great, Andy. He introduced me to this. I thought it was so smart. He found out of this thing called the way of the tea. I think the Chinese have this, kind of ritual where they steep the water for their tea for about 15 minutes or maybe even longer. And while that is going on, they make the most of that time through meditation, or is it still going?
Yeah.
Meditation or something meaningful.
Sure.
So he knew it meant a lot to his wife to use that time while he's brewing the coffee to see how many chores he can get done.
Right on.
And I was like, man, my wife had shared with me years ago, her name's Katy, that she had taken one of those tests, like what her love languages are. And she always told me her love languages are deeds and time.
All right.
And I was like, I am so glad you told me that, because I could totally, because I was in the habit of, while I was brewing the coffee, I would read. And that was really special time for me. But I'd rather do for her first.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I've been hammering out so many chores. Like the dishes are on point, the kitchen's clean, the laundry's done. All in just the time that it takes for me to brew the coffee.
Dang.
I'm looking like a hero right now, I think.
Yeah. You're like...
I bet she would say that.
You're like Santa Claus making it to every house in one night.
Dude, how long does it take
to get it all done?
It's like 10 minutes.
That's amazing.
15 minutes.
Yeah, it does take a little while to brew. That's awesome. Well, I have a little envelope here so we can actually find out exactly what she said, and we'll
You want to read it now, or?
Yeah, what do you think? You want to read
show?
it now, or you want to leave it till the end?
I may as well read it now. I'm curious.
Whoa.
Oh, it's long.
All right. So this is what Katy has to say about why you're an inspiration to other fathers. And it starts off with, in all caps, "Let me count the ways."
You might need to pause it to paraphrase.
She says, "First and foremost, he shows his children how much he loves their mother. He shows them how to love others deeply and put them before yourself. He is truly an all-pro dad who makes intentional efforts for positive deposits in our kids' lives. He has coached countless sports teams and made them competitive yet fun. He led our elementary school's all-pro dad chapter in inspiring fathers to make meaningful connections with their kids. He led 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade boys Sunday school at our church for years and poured into his relationship with our daughter through joining a Y Guides tribe together, making some great memories with other dads and daughter groups. The list really goes on. And then through Greg's actions, and then there's a little carrot and words, he shows our children so much love. There is no doubt in my mind they will grow up to know how to love others. Wow, that is powerful.
Dude, that'll get you choked up a little bit.
Yeah, so I'll take the next little bit of talking.
She didn't even say the way of the coffee. I'm surprised.
No way of the coffee. So, sounds like in her eyes, you show just endless amounts of love and are super intentional and show up the way that you need to.
She's really helped me out with, so my kids are 16 and 13 now. And when they were that age that you mentioned, they're 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, like when they were younger, we spent a lot of great time together. And then they got to be teenagers and they're not wanting to hang out with me.
Right.
So I was kind of questioning, like, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing?
Right.
As a father. And she's like, well, you made so many great deposits when they were little that they'll come back around. And we're starting to see that they are, like my son went through a really rough 3 years where he was just rude, adolescent, I think we were. So it's good to be patient and see them come around.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's powerful. I love this part. So,
that was smart I like that where I didn't know what she was going to say.
Yeah, that is awesome. So give me a little bit of background just on you personally. We've heard a little bit about you and your family, your father or husband of one and father of two. And we've got a little bit of background on your kids, but let's hear a little bit about you and just where you came from, what you did, where you went to school, all those kind of fun things.
Well, my wife and I share a mantra. It's called, we kind of narrowed it down to, she taught me a lot about balance. Never our career together, I didn't always have the best balance. And she's taught me that really well. And that's really, for our happiness, it's really the key, I think. And so we have our mantra, it's work hard, play hard, serve others, and grow.
Wow, love that.
Yeah, so that's what we've developed into where that's our focus. And I think you asked me the other day, like, how would you measure success as a father or husband or family? And I would say, like, that's kind of the litmus test is that when we kind of analyze how we're doing, are we maintaining that balance? We want to work hard, but don't want it to be all work.
Right.
We want to make sure we're making memories and doing what, I have a childhood full of great memories where my parents taught me just that. I'd see them working hard and they worked harder than anybody I've ever seen. But we also have a lifetime of fun memories where they took time to play sports with us or take us to the beach and go fishing. So we grew up in Florida. And I was born in Orlando. We lived in Claremont and then Lake Wales, Florida, and St. Petersburg, which is Tampa Bay. And
so is that kind of all over Florida? I'm not up to my
Central Florida.
Okay.
Somewhat close to Orlando.
Okay.
And then when I was in 8th grade, we moved to St. Petersburg, and that's where my parents grew up. But that was one of the things that my dad did a really good job teaching us is we had a great group of friends in Lake Wales. Like our whole family loved it. It was like a sports town. Grew up playing all kinds of sports with great friends and great people. Still friends with them to this day. Wish I got to see them more, but I was devastated when we had to move to St. Pete. But my dad was like, a place is what you make of it.
Right.
And he repeated that several times, and it was exactly right. Like,
All right.
So we kept the same friends I had before, and then made new friends. Then went to Florida State University, and that's where I met Katy. She had moved down from Chicago. I was in a fraternity. She was in a sorority. We met at one of the parties. Had the same group of friends, and we're so thankful for that because we're still friends with all those people today.
That's so cool.
The work hard part is that I worked 3 jobs through college. Paid my way through school.
Like 3 total jobs or 3 jobs at once?
3 jobs at once, and then 2, 3 jobs is a little bit much,
Yeah.
That wasn't good balance.
No.
But I was proud of it.
You learned some lessons from that too.
Yeah. I was proud of it, and it was part of my identity. But I've managed a mattress. I was in the restaurant business. Worked for Ruby Tuesday first. Was a waiter, then a bartender. Then I got hired at one of the popular bars, like on the Strip in Tallahassee.
Nice.
And so all our friends would come in there. And I was a big believer. I love the service and hospitality side of the business. And I would grow regulars through getting to know people, treating them right, giving them a little extra.
Yeah.
Making them feel special.
Totally.
And that was what it was all about for growing a business, I thought. So when I got hired by my fraternity brother at a mattress store right next to Florida State campus, I put that service and hospitality into that. And then that's kind of what got us into our business.
Thanks for listening to the Inspired Father podcast. Be right back after this message.
Hi there. We're Sweet Dreams Mattress and Furniture. We have mattresses
and furniture.
We also have highly skilled salespeople, our own superhero, and fun. Lots and lots of fun. I know I already mentioned mattresses and furniture, but did I mention it's in stock and ready to rock? Yep, that's right. We're in stock and ready to rock and ready to serve you, Lake Norman, with next day delivery on many of our most popular items. Only at Sweet Dreams Mattress and Furniture.
Sounds like a sweet deal to me.
And I loved it because people were coming to us. They had a real need. And I think maybe the first one, I really took it kind of seriously, where I tried to put the service and elevate the service levels of the business, and really enjoyed seeing it grow. And then I mentioned to my parents early on, like, hey, if you ever want to open a family business, this is great. Like the family that owns the store, like I never even saw them like once a year. They had like 30 stores around Florida. And
wow.
I was like, actually how it works. And then my senior year in college, they reminded me of it, and they were ready to retire and invest in their family. And I was like, yeah, come up to Tallahassee. I'll show you how the business works.
Right.
And I took them secret shopping around Tallahassee. There were 63 stores in Tallahassee that sold mattresses at the time.
Whoa.
I was like, and it seems like we're all busy. Like, this is something that everybody needs. And so I took them to one of our competitors, and it was a storage unit that was all gutted out and like turned into a furniture store. And they did a lot of business. We walked up and acted like we were customers. And the owner of the business is helping us while he's smoking a cigarette. And he's like showing us all these different mattresses. He's like missing teeth. And he's smoking a cigarette all the way down to the filter.
Wow.
And when we're all done shopping there, like we left, I was like, if he can do it,
we can do it.
We're going to take this to another, we're going to put like service, hospitality, treat people right, like give them a much better experience.
Right.
Because that was a big, hole in our industry as far as like people were used to poor service.
It's kind of the stigma that some mattress shops get.
Yeah. It's for good reason. And now it's like, I mean, it's rampant in a lot of restaurants. And
wow.
So we're big believers in good service starts with the way you treat, our employees, and
absolutely,
and hold them accountable for.
So you graduated.
Yeah, we graduated, got married. Graduated, got married, moved to North Carolina, and started the business all in about 6 months' time in 2002.
Yeah. That's impressive.
Yeah, so looking back on that, like to do that now, That makes us a little stressed out hearing that, but back then we were just excited to get started.
Yeah, I can imagine all that in such a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
I had to have some of those challenges. And then you open the doors and the people just flooded in and everybody's happily ever after. Here we are, right?
That's what we always thought. I think we fully expected that. Maybe because that mattress store that I managed in college was established.
Right.
It was already there 15 years, and I never really experienced a slow time or a building of the business. So we kind of expected to put a sign on the door and people were going to come in.
Right.
And it was slow. But something we were really proud of and really glad we did is we immediately got involved in the community. Like Katy and I were like sponsoring Little League teams and getting to know all the parents and Chamber of Commerce, charities, like just getting like and
all of it.
And it really was all one, like our date night, we would work all day in the store and then go deliver beds together. And we're still friends with all those customers to this day. It's like 20 years later. And we remember like sitting on people's back porches, getting to know them.
Nice.
And that's really what has been one of the greatest joys of our business.
Absolutely.
Is relationships. But about 8 months into the business, we were nowhere near where we needed to be. Mom had been praying on her knees in the store. Katy and I would join her a lot. We were praying for God to provide and to bless the business. And the day that Mom told us that my oldest brother's church in Louisiana put us on their prayer list, that same day, this couple that we'd met from around town came in, bought $8,000 worth of mattresses and furniture, which our biggest sale before that was only like $2,500.
That's miraculous.
And it could not have come at a more critical time to meet bills.
Right.
And, as I'm writing the receipt, I look up and the lady's shirt said, "Jesus is Lord" across the front. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Wow.
Like, I can't believe I didn't notice that. And then I was like, if that's not an answered prayer, I don't know what is, because the next day was busy.
Wow.
And we grew to the point where we needed to hire somebody. And then like we grew again to we had to hire more and more people. And that's when the employee starts with us on their first day, I buy them breakfast and sit down and get to know them.
That's so cool.
And I tell them, like, we've grown to the point where we need you. And now just keep in mind, like, that history, like, you're part of something that we're growing one person at a time, and we need you to help us get to the next level.
And speaking of growth, now you have how many employees?
We've got 48.
Is that including the others?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we started with the original dream team of 4, and now it's the dream team of 48.
Lordy mercy. That payroll must be just impressive.
It is.
And you look at it and you're like, wow, how blessed are we to be able to like serve these families and, and everybody rises as a result, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So cool.
And it all, we've got a team of family and adopted family. So my sister, Catherine, and my brother-in-law, Andy, came on board like 16 years ago. And Catherine is our HR director. She does an amazing job, and she does payroll. And I don't know what we'd do without her. And then Andy, I don't know what we'd do without him either. Marketing, management. But then, like, we treat everybody that works with us, and we hire based on our core values, which is dreams, dedicated to God and the greater good, responsibility, energy, effort, and excellence. All about the team, measure growth in partnerships, and service above self.
Wow. You should have been a pilot. Acronym.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. Dreams. And they're easy to remember. So if you could repeat those for our listeners, what was the D again?
Dedicated to God and the greater good. Responsibilities, energy, effort, and excellence. All about the team. Measured growth in partnerships, and service above self. And we make everybody memorize those and we talk about them often, and we quiz on them, and like, you know, that's really been the key, where if anybody's behavior is outside of those, then we have to have a conversation. You know, it kind of keeps them alive.
Yeah. Isn't that right, Serafina?
Which, as far as fatherhood goes, I was actually thinking about that on the way here. It's like, those should be posted. I should be doing the same with my kids, because those are the core values of our family, too.
Right. And yeah.
And unless I spell that out for our kids, just like our employees, we're at the mercy of them making up their own assumptions.
Right. That's awesome. I love that. All right, let's lighten it up a little bit. Hit me with your best dad joke.
Best dad joke.
Best dad joke.
Do you hear about the cow that was not a good listener?
No.
Yeah, whatever you tell him goes in one ear and out the other.
That is absolutely awful. All right, you got another one?
Tequila won't save your life, but it's worth a shot.
I love that one. You heard it here first.
I don't know if I'll tell my kids that one.
That's more of like an older dad joke. Like 21st birthday. And I've been waiting a long time to tell you this joke, but just so you know, that's the perfect setting for it. Let's talk a little bit about challenges as a father. Where have you felt the most vulnerable within fatherhood up to this point? Like, what has caused you the most anxiety, made you feel vulnerable, or like maybe a point where you felt like you just weren't hitting the mark?
I would say the discipline part of it. My parents were so good at disciplining us growing up.
Gosh, so discipline and punishment for wrongdoing.
Yeah, but they were so loving at the same time. Like they just nailed it as far as that, that balance between the two.
Man.
And so I had kind of my own kind of game plan as far as doing what they did. And then my wife, she didn't have the same, her parents are fantastic, but I don't think they disciplined the same way. So she had her own idea of like the right way to do that.
And
I think we agree for the most part, but she has a little bit of a motherly instinct that comes up sometimes. So like whenever I would go to like spank the kids, but I really felt like they needed it, she would kind of like knee-jerk reaction, like defend the kids. And then like her mom didn't like that at all. So it was causing some...
Her mom didn't like the spanking?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like when
grandma.
the kids were little, yeah.
Okay.
And so, I kind of checked myself and I'm like, okay, am I doing this wrong? Just trying to understand from their point of view.
Right.
Because I didn't want to create, unrest in our relationship.
Absolutely.
So that
both with the children
has left me a little bit confused over the years as far as like, because I know that we agree that the kids need to be disciplined.
Right. Corrective action.
And then the right way to go about doing that has been tricky. Right. But, I would say on the other hand, that's something that we're really proud of too, is we have a very peaceful home that like we enjoy being around each other. And it's a relaxing home, which is a little too relaxed sometimes for the kid, but I like giving them lists. So, and I still discipline them. But it's more verbally, constructively.
Okay.
That's been interesting. They need more discipline in their life.
Okay.
Still.
Discipline as far as punishment, or like discipline isn't like you need to...
Yeah, you need to tighten up and you need to get on the ball a little bit more.
Okay. Let's talk about... It's something that I feel like my father did a really good job at, was teaching me about finance and being a good steward of money. How do you relay? So your children are 16 and 13.
Yep.
How do you relay the finance talks to your children? Because I can imagine that's very difficult. There's a lot of different schools of thought on this. And I'm just interested to hear how you teach the finance lesson.
We haven't done a good job of that. Yeah, but I think the right answer is, which needs to probably happen now. So, 10% needs to automatically go to God. Another 10% needs to go automatically to long-term savings, and then you live off the rest. What did your dad say on that?
So my dad is an investment advisor, and I can remember him showing me spreadsheets at like 11 years old, and me like literally falling asleep, my head smashing down on the keyboard, sitting on his lap, and he's explaining, the twins, right? If you have this brother that starts investing here and this brother that starts investing here, the first guy, just needs a 5. Another big thing too was if you want something, you wait 3 months. And if you still want it after 3 months, then you can buy it, right? Not like, no, then I will buy it for you. No, you can save up and buy it yourself. And that's been a really useful practice even now. So it's like, if I find myself wanting something, making a note of it, writing it down 3 months later, if I still want that thing, no, not really. Okay, good. I didn't waste that money. It was a pretty good exercise. I didn't like it so much when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It's like, Dad, I want skis. He's like, wait 3 months. There won't be snow in 3 months. So,
man, that's great.
Yeah, those were some
good
lessons there. But I have some ideas as how I would like to teach my children later as to the whole finance lesson. Because I think something that you've intrinsically learned through being a business owner is that, saving is great, but you also want to you've created something that not only is, paying your own bills, but it's also paying the bills of 48 or 49.
Right, yeah.
48 other individuals. And what an impact that is. And then where cash flow is, kind of a little bit more important than, a large savings account, because that will continue to produce versus your savings account. Like, you may get interest on it, but it's going to be at a lower rate than what the cash flow will provide, and then the tax situation behind all of that.
Right.
So I'm trying to think of some clever ideas as to how to relay those messages to where saving is great, but it's be better to create something that will generate cash flow revenue for you as an individual. I'm still working through some ideas there. I'm sure we'll come up with a lot. They're 7 weeks old, so the spreadsheet conversations aren't going that well yet.
Yeah. Well, do you already follow that do you know who Jim Rohn is? R-O-H-N?
The name
Jim
sounds
Rohn.
very familiar.
Yeah, that was a part that I left out. So his formula for that, and I'm sure he's not the only one, but 10% tithe or to the greater good. 10% savings, and then 10% for entrepreneurship. So whatever you choose that to be for yourself, whether it's in your own business or in that type of spirit, and kind of growing your investments, and then you live off the rest.
Right.
Is what
I like that.
I think that makes so much sense.
Totally.
And then setting that up automatically, that was actually the best thing that Katy and I ever did. Probably 12 years ago now.
Because you don't even feel it.
I wish we would have started, but boom, we'd all have to stroke a check electronically. It goes into 3 different buckets, and we can do even better with it. But that has helped us exponentially when that became automated.
That is awesome.
So now we got to teach the kids that.
Sure.
That's the problem. That's the challenge, is anytime we've gone to go over something serious to teach the kids. And I think a lot of people share this too, where there's an aversion to listening to us. We we have to like, it's almost like we have to speak in tweets,
140 characters or less.
Yeah.
Go.
Because the attention span is so little there. But.
Right. Or you can do what my dad did, and then just, it's more of like a, spoon or a shovel, time against a rock will eventually erode it down.
Yep.
It's like, okay, this is the spreadsheet we're going to go over today. I'm like, oh, no. I want to go ride my bike. But anyway, great times, good memories. We talked a little bit about punishment, discipline. You have pretty good kids for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
What values we already read a little bit from your wife, what she thinks you're passing down to your children, but what do you hope that they take from you moving forward, values that they'll pass on to their children or legacy, so to speak?
Yeah, I want them to share the same values that we have for our business, which is dreams. And then that balance of work hard, play hard, serve others, and grow. I just listened to an interview or a podcast recently, which I really like this too, is a guy named Brennan Bouchard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so live, love, matter.
Live, love, matter.
That's what he asks himself every day. Is like, did I live today? Did I love today? And did I matter to somebody? So I think it'd be along those lines. I just, that was one of the things that I learned from my mom is that, her one wish would be that our kids believe in Jesus Christ. Yeah, so that she challenged me to make sure that we raise them up in that way too. So that would be in there. That'd be number one.
Absolutely.
And those other core values.
Love that. Let's talk about some proud moments. It can be, you can take this however you want. It could be proud moments of like your career. It could be proud moments of your family, your wife. Give us, is there something that comes right to the top of your brain when I mention proud moments?
For each one of them, we raised Jonathan to love to fish at a really early age.
Okay.
And some of those fishing trips were so much fun.
Yeah.
So one of the proudest times I had with Jonathan was when we took the family down to St. Petersburg, where I grew up from 8th grade through high school, and we did a lot of fishing down there. And I took him to Fort DeSoto. And so Katy and Casey were up on the beach, beautiful day. It was looking like the Bahamas. And then Jonathan and I waited out at the point of Fort DeSoto, and we're catching fish after fish. And he was just loving it. And it was such a beautiful day. And I was like, man, this is great.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that feeling of being proud of him for loving to fish and then doing that together and then showing them where I grew up.
That's so cool.
That was great.
Yeah.
Katy had mentioned Y Guides. It used to be called Indian Princesses. That was one of my...
That's at the YMCA.
So between All Pro Dads and Y Guides at the YMCA, that was special time with the kids. Y Guides, we did a lot of camping trips, a lot of cool crafts and like service projects and things like that. And we had our own little tribe, and some of those camping trips and some of those big camps that we went to, just those moments with Casey, my daughter, were incredible. The first camping trip always sticks out. Like, I'm a mattress guy, so we couldn't just sleep on the ground.
No.
So I brought 2 air mattresses, stacked them on top of each other, and got her all excited about it being a double pillow top. But just like that was a special camping trip, and like she was all excited to sleep in the tent, and we're catching fish the whole weekend.
Yeah,
that was proud of it.
Yeah, you don't want to take your Tempur-Pedic camping with you.
Yep,
be a little heavy.
For Katy, her 40th birthday. Like I've always loved doing like special things for her, but I got all of her friends involved, and we threw this amazing, like she I was like, Katy, what do you want to do for your 40th birthday? And she's like, I love parties.
And
so we threw this house party where we had like LED lights. We had this whole DJ mix. We had an ice luge. It was just a legendary house party. And as we were setting it up, she was like, I just can't believe you guys are doing all this. Like we had friends fly in from Florida, our friends here, and
you imported your
we
friends.
just did it. It was a theme party too. It was a Motown theme.
Okay.
Because she loves Mooresville. She's like, I love parties. I love Mooresville where we live. And so it was like, I made this logo with our designer. It was called the Motown Throwdown, Katy's Top 40 Countdown. And we're all dressed in Motown. Like, it was so much fun.
I love that.
Yeah.
You guys go all out.
We like to go all out. Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah, you just recently celebrated your 20th, yeah. 20th anniversary for the store. You had a party there. I got to be a part of that. And wow, it was just epic. You had stuff for the kids to keep them entertained.
Got to entertain the kids, man.
Yeah, that's priority number one, I guess.
Yeah,
and then there was just such good camaraderie amongst all the people there. You can just tell the impact that you have on the people that your family and your business touch. It's inspiring for
Thanks
sure.
for being there.
Absolutely. Do you have a particular parenting style?
I think that being level-headed. Katy compliments me. I love being a boat captain.
Man.
I think I'm pretty good at it, and she loves the way I do it. You watch a lot of people, especially at boat ramps, where they get all stressed, like coming in the boat, and they're like the wind's blowing them away from the dock, and they start yelling at their wives, like because it's her fault.
Yeah.
And I've always taken, like growing up around the water, I've always taken pride in being level-headed, and like you don't jerk the boat back, like because it throw everybody on board.
Of course.
And I've kind of taken that approach to my leadership with my kids and my wife and our business too, where, like you and I talk all the time about how important it is to kind of pause, when rather than just react. Usually like that keeps me out of trouble. So we were talking about discipline earlier. I don't want to be a tyrant, but I don't want to be a pushover either.
Right.
So just keeping them between the lines, giving them a lot of patience. Like Lord knows, my parents and my in-laws are like we're so blessed to have 4 great parents,
right,
to learn from. They've been beyond patient with me, so I need to be able to pay that forward to my kids.
Yeah,
without letting them just do whatever they want.
Right.
Right. So kind of level-headed, boat captain, keep them between the lines.
All of that. I'm glad you brought up the boat ramp. That's one of my favorite pastimes is the YouTube boat ramp fails.
Yeah. Or the qualified captain.
And there you see I don't know if you've seen the Family Guy episode where he's trying to back the boat into it's really funny.
No, but you see it time and time again.
It is boat ramps are a struggle for a lot of people.
Yep.
Well, talking about your wife a little bit, how do you feel that you're successful as a husband towards your wife? And dive into that a little bit.
I think that is probably what I've done the best in my life.
To be a husband?
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yeah, I think not a day goes by that she doesn't know that I love her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it started from day one, like on our first date in 98.
First date in 98?
First date in 98. Like, we had an epic first date, and we just have kept it rolling ever since.
That's so cool.
But when I proposed to her, I mean, you and Chastity have a killer proposal story. You should tell that on this podcast.
Yeah, I'll get to that one.
But I feel like I nailed the proposal.
She said yes.
She did, yeah. Well,
first time.
I had to grind her down.
Yeah.
But that's a long story. But
that was also on the first date, too, right?
I've always just taken the time to spend with her. Like, we love every moment we get to spend it together.
Yeah.
But we also, it's funny, as much time as we love to spend together, anytime we get a party or like a gathering or something, we kind of naturally just kind of go our own way, and then we like get back together and like,
oh, hey, there you are.
Yeah. So throughout the week too, we're usually busy like doing all kinds of stuff, but then we love coming back and spending good time together in the evenings. And
right. So you guys are not only husband, wife, and parents together, but you're also business partners.
Yeah. She and I own the business.
So it's could imagine be a little overwhelming at times, like maybe you're in each other's space too much, or maybe there was a period in time that you were a little bit too much connected at the hip. Was that ever the case for you? Or
I think we're a little weird where we actually do better and better the more we're together.
Oh man, you were killing it with the rhymes this morning.
But yeah, I give her all the credit because she's just so easy to get along with.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. So I just love being around her, but
because that could be a challenge for a lot of people, just to have that much time with their spouse. Because at the end of the day, when you go to have those conversations, it's like, well, we spent all the day together. What do we talk about now? And it sounds like you all are able to still.
Yeah, we do a pretty good job of like. And I think I would drive her nuts if she didn't. Like, we talk about this quite a bit, actually. If she didn't do this with me, she probably wouldn't know. Like, it doesn't sound like that much fun to an outsider, but we truly, genuinely like have a lot of fun with our business. Yeah. And knowing, like, she knows full well what we go through, I'd probably drive her nuts talking about mattresses. Yeah. So we're really grateful that we get to experience that together.
For sure.
We've just met so many great friends in our industry and that we work with, and the customers and people in the community. And
when you see your guys' marketing, it's very evident that you guys enjoy working together and having a good time.
Yeah, it's got to be
y'all's
fun.
marketing is phenomenal.
It's got to be fun.
I love it.
We just want to do more and more of that because like making commercials and videos is so much fun.
Exactly.
That would be some advice I give to anybody. Like if you're considering working with your spouse or spending a lot of time with him, is don't keep score. I hear that come up, and that was some advice that was given to me is like, if you start keeping score, oh, I did this chore, I did this, what'd you do? Like, so we don't ever do that, and we always put each other first. Those are the two things that keep us out of trouble.
Right. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So don't keep score. How do you kids see your relationship, you and your wife? They like, ooh, gross.
More things are caught than taught.
Okay.
So, you know how I was saying we have to speak in tweets? They're not going to listen to a whole lot of talking from us. But they definitely see how much we love each other. And it's really a proud moment for us when we hear from their friends' parents. Whoa. How they pitch in and help, how they work hard on, like, there's been some, like, doing yard work for them, things like that.
Cool.
So I feel like they are learning from us, even though they wouldn't tell us that. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Right when we think they're not listening, I think they just pick up more on the example.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys are quite the example, hence why you're here as an inspiration to fathers who may be ahead of you a little bit or behind you. Something that I'd like to get into now is maybe some, like, we talked about the discipline and how that may have been a hard thing for you with your children. Have you made any, like, very clear, evident mistakes with your kids? And what did you take away from that after the fact?
Well, I think that your good questions kind of uncovered some shortcomings. I don't know, probably mistakes. Like, so we haven't got over the financial planning well with our kids yet. And I don't think you can start too early on that. We should have done a better job with that, and I'm going to jump on that. And then the discipline, I don't know what the mistake is. Like, so there was a moment when Jonathan was probably 12, like 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade. That's right when his behavior really started to change. And he was being really out of line, like really mean to his sister. And he crossed the line on that one day, and I spanked him hard for it. And I didn't think that I did it out of line, but that moment, like, kind of kicked off into several years of us not being as close as we were before that. So I don't know how to read that. Because now I feel like I've been too soft on him, you know, because he's not.
Ever since he was 12.
Because he's like, he's doing a lot of sloppy things.
Okay.
And you know, but he's also doing things well. You know? So I'm just trying to, you know, be patient, not be erratic, not be a tyrant. But I think I might need to be a little harder on him. But I think we're going to get there.
Especially now that he's driving and has some more responsibility.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I want to have a great relationship with him.
Right.
Yeah, so it's weird. I think that maybe that was a little too hard, or I don't know what it was exactly, and I haven't asked him. I don't know if I should or not. But it was weird. It's
a good father-son.
It was kind of like a little bit of a turning point where like we didn't do near as much, and I don't know if it's because he was at an age where he just wanted to hang out with his friends more.
Right.
Or if it was because of that. But it's been, there were several years there where we just stopped having as much fun together.
Sounds like that could be a good camping trip, campfire discussion.
Between he and I?
Yeah.
You think so?
I don't know, maybe. Or you could put him in the car
It'd be interesting to
several
hear,
weeks.
If anybody listens to this part of it, I'd love to hear some advice.
Yeah. I'm sure.
What would you do now at this point? Like, should that be a campfire discussion or
do you just table it and move on? Yeah. He may not remember it.
He's not the kind of guy that opens up.
Right.
Like, he's a little bit more reserved and.
If you're 100 miles deep in the woods, though.
Yeah. No escaping.
Exactly.
We should break out some spreadsheets while we're at it.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, yeah, hopefully we get some inspiration from the community on how to tackle that specific issue.
Yeah. I certainly don't have it all figured out and want to do better and better.
Talk to me a little bit about your father and what inspiration you took from him, what lessons that he passed down, or what lessons that you wish that he had passed down, but maybe failed to do in some way. And that maybe he didn't have any shortcomings.
Yeah, I heard this from All Pro Dads. I learned this from All Pro Dads. I thought it was really smart, where a lot of dads say that they like to spend quality time with their kids. Like, they don't get to spend very much time with their kids, but the time that they do spend with them is quality time. And the author of this lesson for All Pro Dads was like, more time is quality time with your kids. And I think my dad did that really well. Like,
awesome.
He worked really, really hard, but he would also always come home, play catch with me, take me to the ball field, play basketball with me, take me fishing. We spent so much time together and like showed me how to do projects. He's the handiest guy that I know. He's kind of a self-taught guy. He grew up with a single mom. And she'd be working and he'd have the house all to himself. So he was out with his friends. He's doing stuff around the house, figuring out how to do things on his own. He and my mom got married when they were 19 and 17 and had my oldest brother at that age. And they just had to figure it out. And then they had my other brother 2 years later. And, he worked 3 jobs to make ends meet in the beginning.
Seeing a theme here.
Yeah. But then he also taught himself how to do a lot of things. Like, he and his buddies got books on architecture, and they built this cabin in the Ocala National Forest together and stuff like that. Like, he just got stuff done.
That's so cool.
And I can't, still to this day, he's just amazing at like, he'll make lists and just get it done. And
he's a finisher.
I want to be more like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a long ways to go to be that good. We call it GSD, getting stuff done.
Yeah.
And he's amazing at it.
Heard GSD.
But he always took the time to, like, all of us kids, taught us how to do things. He was a very good coach. He was a very good disciplinarian.
Yeah. A lot of really good lessons to learn there from him.
Yep. One thing, like, he isn't, he's not a believer.
Really?
Yeah. So, we've had some conversations about that, and like, so I'm still praying for him on that. And just hoping that, the Lord will work in his life.
That's hard. What about your mom?
Her faith was very strong, and we just lost my mom last week, and she's 75 years old, and
So sorry.
yeah, she lived a faith-filled life, just filled with doing and loving others, and it was her faith made my faith stronger. I was blessed to spend a lot of time with her over the years, especially her last 2 weeks in the hospital. Just seeing how strong she was there has increased my faith as well. So it's been more of a celebration of her life. And like, we were able to grieve as a family. I'm so glad we were there with her. But being able to take the lessons that she taught us, and then also like the fun memories that we had together, and then her example of faith was so strong.
Yeah.
We just know she's with the Lord.
That's got to be difficult for your dad. Now that she's gone, he's not a believer. That's a hard thing to lose somebody.
Yeah, he did tell me that he believes in God. It's just not the same God that I believe in.
Wow.
Yes, I do think that he respects a higher power outside of himself. So that may be helping him, but he misses her. You see like how 58 years they were together.
Wow.
But we've all been around him, and like he's moving forward. He's doing all right.
Wow. That's a lot to unpack there.
Let's change gears just a little bit. You're very inspirational as far as self-development goes. You're always reading something new, listening to something great. I don't hear you talking about any new bands. It's always like, this podcast, this audiobook, this book, like lessons from mentors. Do you have any of your favorite authors or inspirational speakers that you'd recommend for our audience to look at?
Yeah, 3 of them.
Perfect.
Ed Milet.
He
has helped me a lot. I stumbled on an interview that he was on with a guy named Tom Bilyeu on his show several years ago, and I'm so glad that I did, because he talked about the power of routines, and he said, and that has helped me so much. Where his example was, okay, every morning I wake up, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to hydrate. I'm going to do something cold to kind of wake myself up. And then I'm going to have, like, before I ever touch my phone, I'm going to have my personal victory where, I meditate, I pray. So for me, it was wake up, drink a large thing of ice water, something cold.
Yeah.
Start the coffee. And then I would read and pray, and then get ready and go work out.
Yeah.
And that's like the first part of the day. And so now I've added the way of the coffee, and and it still gives me a little bit of time to read. And then like I'm reading more a little bit later in the morning too. I got to keep doing that. And man, just getting on that rhythm as opposed to letting the day get away from me and never getting around to working out.
Right.
And then F3's come around in the last 2 years for me. And man, just getting in that routine, it just makes me proud for one thing, and I feel so much better.
Right.
And then he also goes on to talk about, like, your days don't have to be 24-hour days. Like, who says they have to be 24-hour days? He tries to break it up in like 3 days in one. So the first 6 hours of your day, you're doing these things, middle 6 these, and then the last, and you're trying to like make the most of your time.
Right.
He wrote a book called The Power of One More.
Okay.
So we know that challenges are coming in life. So we have to start now on preparing our mind as a muscle to go, like, be building it.
Right.
So always pushing ourselves to do one more.
Mm.
And I try to use that.
You do that at F3 all the time.
I try to do that in F3.
Like Bedbug. It's 20, not 21. You're like, one more. Like,
so getting used to that so that we can handle life's greatest challenges because they're coming. And we just got to be ready to be able to deal with it effectively. Dr. Kevin Elko, sports psychologist, works with NFL teams, the Olympic teams. He wrote a book called The Sender, one of my favorite books ever. And he also has the Monday Morning Cup of Inspiration that comes.
It's the first time I've heard about The Sender.
Oh my God.
The Morning Cup of Inspiration. I've definitely heard that from you before.
The Sender is incredible.
And then the last one?
Andy Stanley. Yeah, I'm a big fan of his communication. I think he speaks to all people really well, believers, non-believers, and he relates the Word of God to everyone so they have a chance to understand it.
That's awesome.
Tell me about a couple of things that you're grateful for. Wesley, what's the not a couple of things. Tell me the thing you're the most grateful for right now.
Yeah, our business. Yeah, I mentioned in the beginning, I've been the recipient of so much good fortune from our parents, and we could not have started Sweet Dreams without the courage of our parents. They were in their mid to late 50s. Huge life change for them. Sold the house, moved away from the city that they grew up, the state that they grew up in. We all came up to North Carolina and started a new life together. I mean, and Katy and I, fresh out of college, had never owned or operated, never owned a business before. To take that leap of faith is a huge sign of courage, but then they also had so much confidence in us when we had not earned it. Would not have been able to start or overcome those challenges in the beginning without the confidence that they instilled in us through their courage. So I'm extremely grateful for that. And, I think a lot of people would hear a mattress store, a mattress store. I think whatever you choose to do in your life, you can take that selling widgets. In turn, I view Sweet Dreams as a garden. Yeah, so if we're working it, or like Joe Dirt says, life's a garden, dig it.
Exactly. I love it.
But I just feel like we've been given something special, and we want to just be able to make the most of it. Providing for our family, providing for all these families that work for us, providing for our community, and being able to just go and do the most good with it. It sounds really exciting to me. I don't know if it sounds exciting to somebody else, but if it inspires you to go do the same with whatever you've been given, I think that's a lesson, being grateful for it, and now how do we go make the most of it?
Exactly. That's awesome.
We're getting kind of long here on the time. I want to be mindful of that for you. Let's talk about what skills do you have that you think that you would just really excel at? And then what do you wish that you knew? What skills that you wish that you had?
I think that I'm, first and foremost, I think I'm very thoughtful. I'm usually pretty aware of how people are feeling, or pretty good at including people in that. And then through that thoughtfulness, I think that I'm pretty creative. So I like to be able to create things and create opportunity. I've always been an entrepreneur since a little kid. I remember one year I had to, I didn't have money to buy Christmas presents for my family, so I decided to take the mistletoe out of the oak tree in the front yard and break it up into little pieces and tie a bow around it and put glitter and sprayed it with Lysol. and like went door to door and sold fresh scented mistletoe for like $5 each, and just killed it.
That's awesome.
I earned all this money, and then like went and bought Christmas presents for my family.
Whoa!
And I did that. I did that again in high school, which
The mistletoe trick again?
I did. Yeah,
Wow.
and I did well again on that. So that was like 11th grade, which is pretty strange. Yeah, but I remember knocking on one guy. He was like this gay guy opened the door, and he's like smoking a cigarette. His shirt's unbuttoned to here, and I was like, "Hey, would you like to buy some fresh scented mistletoe?" He's like, "It's just me and another guy living here. What are we gonna do with mistletoe?" I was like, "Well, it's fresh scented." He's like, "I'll take 2." We had a good laugh out of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, so entrepreneurial, creating opportunity, always looking for ways to serve. And then I think I've developed the ability to lead well and speak in public pretty well. And I want to keep developing those skills so that I can be a better leader and serve more.
Love that. And that's kind of doubling down on a skill that you have. What is something that like you're not good at?
Well, I should be a lot better than I am. I'm not terrible at this, but it depends on who you ask. Like my dad is extremely handy. I should be a whole lot handier than I am. And I don't know if it's ADD
Guilty
or what, but it's just excuses. Like he's really good at getting those projects done, and I'm not.
Parkinson's law. Something takes the amount of time that you allot to it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like, okay, I can get into this project. It's going to take me way longer than anybody else because it just does, because I'm not as handy as I should be. And then like, do I need to be doing what I do really well? Or do I need to be taking the time to learn how to do this? And I'm hoping to get more and more into those projects to get, because that's such a great feeling when I do make myself do a home project.
Get outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, I want to do more of that so my kids can see me doing it.
For
so
sure.
that, you know.
Exactly.
All right, so we're going to kind of wrap this up. What challenge do you have for our listeners? This is going to be the challenge that they're going to have to accept until our next guest comes on with theirs. So they're going to have to do it for a little while here.
What challenge?
Challenge. It can be anything. Be nutrition, fitness, relationship, social. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I had this in mind already, so I'm going to go ahead and just share this.
Send it.
I want to compliment you. I think this is awesome what you're doing. And I wish I would have been better at what you're doing at your age and even younger. Like, I have a feeling you've been doing this a long time where the moment I stopped pretending that I knew everything or that I knew more than I did and start really listening to others and trying to learn from whatever challenges we have in life, there's a wise person that's already figured out how to do it.
Success leaves clues.
Yep. So trying to find those wise people, pick their brain, like learn from them so that we can do more with it and to get there. Like, I was able to shift my thinking more towards that several years ago, but not nearly as early as I should have. And I see you doing that really well, and I want to compliment you on that.
Appreciate that.
That would be my challenge for the next one is like, okay, who can you go ask some questions and who can you go learn from to help you figure out how to get there faster?
Okay, so seek out somebody to ask questions and learn something from. It's going to be the challenge to the listeners.
Yep.
Awesome. I love it. And then what does it mean to you to be an inspirational father?
It's just one of my life's, most important things in life really is, I want to, be a good Christian. I want to be a great husband and father. Boom, boom, boom. Like I need to do that incredibly well because it's just has eternal consequences.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And then two more things. So how can we serve you? We had the question earlier on discipline that you were looking for some advice on. Is there any other aspect of life that we can serve you with?
Yeah, just leave it at that. I'd love to hear everybody's feedback on that topic there.
All right.
Yeah.
And then in ending, if our listeners want to get in touch with you or they have a question about a certain aspect of what we covered today, how can they connect with you? Social or other? Or please don't email me. I don't have any more bandwidth.
I really enjoy LinkedIn.
Okay.
So LinkedIn is great. A lot of people are sharing some really great thoughts on there.
Gotcha.
So I think that's a great vehicle for developing thought leadership. So find me on LinkedIn, Greg Law.
Okay. So
Or text me.
Bedbug on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
I think I'll leave Bedbug off of the social media platform.
May send the wrong message. Well, Greg, thank you so much and doing this with me. I really appreciate it. And thank you for holding me accountable and challenging us and being an inspirational fathers, not only your own children, but the fathers you're surrounded by all the time, and then other men and just community. You guys have such a huge, large reaching impact. I just want to recognize you for that. I'm grateful that you're here, and just can't express how excited I am that you're going to be a part of this journey.
Hey, we're just happy to be a part of it and just extremely excited for you and proud of you for starting this. And GSD, man, you're getting it done, man.
Love it.
And the kids are only 7 weeks old. And
7 weeks old.
You're already well on your way to being a great father.
Yeah, if you guys heard some squeaks in the background, Seraphina's here on the floor bouncing in the bounce chair.
You got it down pat.
Exactly. All right, well, thank you.
Yeah, nice work.
Inspired Fathers. My name is Wesley Rhoads, and you've been listening to the Inspired Fatherhood podcast. I hope you found inspiration from this episode, and also hope that you'll subscribe and join us next time on the Inspired Fatherhood podcast.